A couple of years ago, right before the pandemic arrived and the world changed, I took my son Jesse to the Daytona 500. I had no idea the planet was about to shut down, but in retrospect, it was a pretty rowdy way to say farewell to civilization. Jesse was in. I don't even think I got to the second syllable of Daytona. He was 6 years old and obsessed with Hot Wheels, Camaro fumes, and monster trucks. He'd watched Cars 1,000 times, to the point he grew mildly disappointed when the Impala in traffic next to us wasn't anthropomorphically chatting to us through its front bumper. Stock car racing is not for everyone. 4+ hours of Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas making left-hand turns is not a big topic of conversation among the flabby New York City dads I know who bicker about pavement records and drink overrated $6 pour-over-ice coffees. But for Jesse, book it. I figured the trip wouldn't be a big hassle. A quick flight from New York City to Orlando, short drive from Orlando to Daytona Beach, and then we'd drive around for 7 or 8 hours looking for parking. Easy peasy. What I didn't count on was what it meant to fly to Orlando. The moment we stepped on the plane, Jesse saw them. Kids dressed in Disney gear, clutching Mickeys and Minnies and doe-eyed princesses of every hairstyle and rank. These kids were not going to the Daytona 500. They were not impressed by a small block 358 Ci V8. They were off to the Magic Kingdom, or Animal Kingdom, or Epcot, or Blizzard Beach Water Park, and probably all the above. And I realized that I was going to be spending this trip playing Disney defense against the child who had never been. The arrival at the airport was much worse. Orlando International Airport is basically a portal into the inner ear of Mickey Mouse. From the moment of disembarkation, there is an assault of Disney consumerism, colorful posters advertising new rides and features, kiosks arranging transit and VIP tours, a sprawling gift shop stocked not with the usual assortment of polyblend hoodies and beanbag unicorns, but with stacked shelves of Diz-Biz merchandise. Basically, the airport is the Disney welcome drink, and as Jesse and I move through it, I wish I'd brought him a pair of eye blinders like the ones they put on carriage horses. "Are we ever going to go to Disney World?" Jesse asked, not demandingly, but plaintively, as if he were asking if we'd ever see a loggerhead turtle in the wild. This is a delicate question for a parent to answer when they are standing in the kitchen 800 miles from Florida. There's no satisfying way to answer it when standing in the middle of Orlando International Airport, when there are shuttle buses outside the door ready to take you, when the entire momentum of the facility is designed to deposit you at the doorstep of Walt Xanadu within 15 or so minutes. No response is sufficient. You can't give your kid a lame excuse about the timing or the season or your inability to find plane tickets. You are literally here. So the only humane thing you could do is to escape, to grab your child by the hand and march them wordlessly to the rental car counter where families waiting in line are, damn it, already in mouse ears. But Jesse didn't toss a fit. I was grateful. He was too focused on Daytona and he seemed to buy my limp suggestion of a Disney rain check. We got on the road to the Speedway, and once we got clear of the greater Mickeypolis, we had a lengthy conversation about the respective driving talents of NASCAR heroes like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Martin Truex Jr. All right, fine, that's not true. We didn't know a thing. I had managed to negotiate my way into middle age and a sports columnist job with barely a passing knowledge of anything to do with one of America's greatest spectator sports. If you are embarrassed by this admission, imagine how I feel. It's embarrassing for a person paid to write about sports to not know the difference between Bristol and Talladega, or have the first idea what happens when a car rolls into pit road. They pump up the tires? I don't know. I was the worst sort of urbane caricature. I, too, am a flabby dad with opinions about pavement records and overrated $6 pour-over-ice coffee. I'd faked my way through a few interviews with NASCAR talent by asking basic questions. How's your parallel parking? I didn't know anything, and it was a little mortifying and probably professionally disqualifying. I admit it. Mea culpa. Now, please don't ask me about hockey. Jesse was my vessel here. He might have thought he was my merry +1, but he was going to be Daddy's portal into the whole Daytona experience. I could write about what it was like to be here, eyes of the child, the whole bit. I could cover Daytona without actually covering Daytona. I could cover it as a dad. Aw, barf. Done.